Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're all having a great day so far. Welcome to part one of a revival of a topic you guys have been asking for. This is the art of negotiation, an introduction. So I'm looking at the chat box right now, looking at the participants. We have lots of folks from FINMA University of Pangasinan. Thank you for always tuning in. I often see you in our webinars. We also have Domingo from Duty Free Philippines. Thank you also. We also have Layla, who's watching from Laguna. Thank you for joining our session today. Same thing also from Alanis Ramos, says good afternoon. So thank you, welcome. And this is our last session for the year. I can't believe it. We've been doing webinars for 2 years now. Can you imagine it, guys? It also means that it's been 2 years since the pandemic started, and we're all still quarantined. But I'm hopeful. The cases in the country has been going down. Assuming that the Omicron isn't going to be more transmissive or more severe, I think we're on the path to recovery. I am hoping that I'll be able to speak and see people for the first time again in 2022. So I can't wait for that. In the meantime, thank you for joining our session. Sherwin Saavedra says good afternoon from Gumaca in Quezon. Jonathan Santos, who's a katokayo of mine, says hello from Mandaluyong. Carl Peña says good afternoon from Pasig City. Jonathan said last session, it is, but we're going to have next year, starting January 2022. What I just need is to rest. Okay? Because doing these webinars isn't a walk in the park. It takes hours for us to prepare for it. So Mariko says, happy to be here, learning from you again. Thank you, Mariko, for joining our session. Joji Cruzena is watching from Parañaque City. Erica Vibes is also watching from Parañaque. So thank you for joining our session for today. As usual, this session is not only live on Facebook, it's also live on LinkedIn and YouTube. So if you happen to be on those platforms, please do subscribe to our channels. It will be great to have more people sticking around. Princess Senya says, buti na lang walang pasok. Pwede tumutok sa free webinar. I just realized that it's a holiday late this morning because I noticed that there weren't much people emailing. And then I realized, yes, in the Philippines, it's a holiday. That's why. So I just realized it now. Okay. So before we continue, guys, I am looking at the chat box right now. I don't see a lot of likes and hearts. Could you please give us likes and hearts? We will appreciate that. It would be great to see that from the chat box. That's the only thing we're going to be requiring from you in exchange for this free webinar. We'd love to see your likes and hearts. Thank you. Carl says, bought all three of my books. Thank you for doing that. And we hope you get to enjoy reading the books as well. Okay. If it's your first time to join us, this is our company, JY Consultancy and Ventures. We specialize in organizational behavior. That means we help organizations train their employees, whether it be about public speaking, business writing, motivation, digital marketing, and also the like. And of course, we've done our sessions in many parts of the world. We take pride for having reached out as far as in countries in Buenos Aires, as far as in countries in New York, right? Cities in New York. If you'd like to get a sample of our past webinars, you can do that by scanning the QR code or copying the website link into your internet browser. We got more than 100 webinars that you can watch for free, all for you to be able to learn and be up to speed with your career management. If you'd also like to get a copy of a certificate for this webinar, you can scan the QR code or you can copy the link into your browser. Okay. As usual, we give away prizes. An audience member will be randomly chosen to win tickets to our premium webinars and also some of our prizes from our sponsors. Number one, I'll be giving away today copies of our best-selling books, all three of them in digital formats, that's in ebooks, in celebration of our upcoming December 10 to December 14 Grand Christmas Sale on Lazada and Shopee. That's going to be for the 12/12, which is happening in a few days. We're selling all our three best-selling books for only 599 pesos, and you get to save 600 pesos. That's a lot. But for today, in celebration of that, we are going to give away the digital copies, the e-books format. Okay, so all you need to do is to share this webinar on your Facebook or LinkedIn feed, and the fastest person who I get to see in the chat box, I will be calling you out. I will be doing a raffle. If your name is called out, then you'll be the one who will be eligible to win the prizes. Okay. Jan Erwin Buladaco says hello, good afternoon from Davao del Norte. Okay. And we're also going to be giving away prizes from our sponsor, Oh So Healthy or OSH. One lucky winner winning 500 pesos worth of freebies, which you can claim in their online store. My favorite flavor is mango, so whoever wins, I hope you get to enjoy their treats. The last is on January 15. We'll be conducting a Boost Your Confidence workshop. It's a 2-hour online boot camp on public speaking. So you'll be able to confidently conduct meetings, pitch to investors, or present to management team. That's happening on Saturday, 10 a.m. to 12 o'clock p.m. Let's see if whoever is going to win this, we're going to be giving away 2 tickets for today. All right. So all you need to do, you have to share this webinar on your Facebook or LinkedIn feed. That's the only requirement that we ask from our participants. All right. So today's agenda, this is part one of a 5-part series. We'll talk about the essentials of negotiation. Negotiation is simply all about bartering. It's all about compromising. It's all about agreeing to something that originally started as a conflict. You want something else, they want something else. How can you come in between? That's what negotiation is. So, when it comes to selling to a customer, so when I say selling, I'm not talking about selling in exchange for money. Selling could mean sharing an idea and letting the person believe that that idea is true. It makes use of principles in negotiation. So, it starts with identifying what you want and identifying what the other party wants, meaning your customer. Okay? Again, don't take the word customer literally as if it's a customer buying something from you. Your mother, who you're negotiating to send you to an all expense paid trip to Hong Kong, is a customer. Why? Because you're catering to something that they need and something that you need. Okay? So, in a negotiation activity, your goal is to look for the bargaining range. Up to what point are you willing to give this up? And up to what point is the other party willing to give up something? Identifying the bargaining range is your objective. Of course, ideally, you want the best of the best, but sometimes you will not get everything. You'll only get a few of it, but you're still in a winning space in this case. Okay? Let's give a case study. For example, in the telecommunications industry, so I worked when I was younger in the telecommunications industry. When you get to talk to a customer representative, they standardize a remote conversation journey. Usually, if you talk to someone from the telco industry, like a customer rep, you're complaining about your internet connection, you're complaining about your bill, and that it was wrongly charged, they would usually need to cap it off to around 10 to 15 minutes, right? And a typical bargaining conversation has the following items. One, we have the target point. That is exactly what you want to happen. Second, the minimum point. This is the least thing that you want to happen, but you're still okay with it. So it's your lowest threshold for agreeing. And finally, number three, what if you did not get your target point and neither did you get your minimum point? The third is what we call as the BATNA, the best alternative to a negotiated agreement. So let's identify one by one what these things are. A target point and minimum point are the things that you want. Okay? It will fall under a range. The target point is the best of the best. The minimum point is the minimum, right? Minimum, the least thing that you're okay to have. The BATNA, on the other hand, it's something that you don't want or you were not looking for, but you're okay to settle with it for now versus going home empty handed. Okay, I want to emphasize that versus going home empty handed because let's face it, guys, if you want something, it's better to still have something in your hands than go home with nothing at all. That's the sad thing. So the BATNA is the best alternative to a negotiated agreement. When you go to a table, your mindset is to achieve the target point. When the customer or the other party is still in denial, doesn't want to give you, you keep on lowering your standards up to the point that you go to the minimum point. And then if they still don't want to agree, that's when you offer your BATNA. Okay. Can I get an exclamation mark? Are we clear so far? We're going to make this clearer later on by giving you an example in real life situations. Okay. So let's talk about what those examples are. But before we do that, I want to unwind for a bit. Let's give away now our best selling books. We're going to give away all three of them, all three best selling books, and they are in digital copies. However, if you'd like to get the physical copy with signatures of yours truly, you can go to our online store on Lazada and Shopee. They're going to be at 50% off on sale 12/12, December 10 to 14. Okay? So let's start. I am going to choose now who that winner is. And again, you have to be someone who is sharing this post on your Facebook or LinkedIn feed. My winner, ladies and gentlemen, is Sherwin Alvarez Saavedra. Congratulations, Sherwin Alvarez Saavedra. Sherwin, if you are looking at this screen, look at the scrolling marquee. Do you see that? That's how you claim your prize. You have to go to the bit.ly/JY prize because we're gonna be needing to get your email address so we can send to you to your account. Okay. All right. Congratulations. That's so for those who are interested to get a copy, we are at 50% off sale. Only 599 pesos for all three best-selling books. Okay. One more commercial. Our episode 4 is now finally out. You can catch us on Spotify. This is our podcast together with my brother, who's an entrepreneur slash architect. This is From Grit to Great. It's a podcast on how to improve your motivation, your career, your leadership skills, and your ability to communicate with others at work. Okay, so let's continue. Now that you've identified your bargaining range, it allows you now to commit to an objective every time you talk to someone on a call. When I say a call refers to a meeting with another party, right? So, for example, I'm going to put that now into a visualization. Your target point is the best thing you want to happen. The minimum point is the least that you're okay to settle with. The BATNA, on the other hand, is where I wasn't expecting it. I was not envisioning it. But hey, I don't want to go empty handed. So I'm going to settle for something that's an alternative instead. Okay. So let's negotiate. Let's say you want to have a birthday gift. Okay. For 2020 or 2021. Problem is, COVID-19 happened. Okay. So originally in 2020, you were asking your parents for a birthday trip to Japan. 2020 happened, COVID-19 happened, you couldn't. So your parents said, my son, we couldn't send you because you can't travel abroad. And so is it okay instead that we send you into a domestic trip? And so that's where you start negotiating. Okay, I'm okay if we don't go to Japan as long as I still go to my trip. I'm going to do a domestic trip. Maybe you go to Palawan. Maybe you go to Boracay, whatever it is. The problem, however, is let's say you are still paranoid to fly. So what happens now? You might not have the possibility of getting your birthday gift. Instead, what you say to your parents is, all right, I don't want to fly. I'm still paranoid. Can I instead encash my domestic trip cost? What's the equivalent of that? If that's 20,000 pesos, can I have that instead? I will just use it to buy clothes. I'll use it to invest in cryptocurrency, for example, whatever it is. The point is, you don't go empty handed. Can I get an exclamation mark? Do we now appreciate target point, minimum point, and finally your BATNA? I want to highlight this. BATNA is not part of your option. Okay? Do not have a mindset that you need to always have your BATNA on around because you don't want to settle for something that wasn't really thought of. You don't want to settle for something that's an alternative. You want to settle within your bargaining range. Okay? So have a mindset that you have your target point and minimum point. Only have the BATNA as your worst case scenario. Please remember that. Okay? Let's do another example. Let's say in the telecommunications industry, I came from Globe Telecom, and it's a very cutthroat industry where your customers can also be very demanding. So let's pretend you are from the customer representative department and you're doing a sales call to a customer. You have to do it in 10 to 15 minutes. Let's say if the customer is asking for cutting the line, okay? The customer says, I am not satisfied with Globe Telecom or with PLDT. I want to cut my line. You need to negotiate. The target point that you want is number one, you make the person. So, by the way, the customer is postpaid customer. Okay, he wants to cut the line because he's not satisfied. So your ultimate target point is to not make him cut the line. He needs to stay as a customer. So you need to discuss that for 3 minutes. So and ask questions. Why are you cutting the line? Where have we fallen short of expectations? And then offer something such as, for example, if it's an issue of not being able to pay or it's an issue of dissatisfaction, can I offer you instead, let's say, 1 month free uh, bill will pay for your 1 month bill as long as you keep your subscription. Okay. Now, what if the customer does not agree? Okay. The customer feels like, no, I don't really want to keep my postpaid account because I think that there are better alternatives out there. Okay. So you settle for the next, you explain for the next 5 minutes. Okay. If you're not okay with extra month that's going to be paid for your bill, can I offer you something instead? So you'd say something like, can I offer you that if you renew your plan, I'm going to give you a free phone that you can either have, I'm going to give you a free phone, but it's a lower value, could be like a 5,000 peso phone, or I'm going to offer you a brand new phone and you can get it as a 0% installment for 12 months. So it's not the best deal that you can get because you're giving too much to the customer, but you're still making the customer serve as a postpaid customer. Okay. Now, what if the customer does not really want to stay with your company? That's when you offer BATNA. You still need to keep the customer intact in the organization. So a BATNA could be, all right, you really want to leave your postpaid account? How about I offer you a prepaid account instead? You will still be able to keep your number, but I'll switch it to prepaid account. So that if ever you change your mind, at least you did not lose your number at all. To top it all off, I'm going to give you 100 peso free prepaid load so you can still use it anytime that you want. Okay? And then you discuss that for 2 minutes. So all in all, you were able to finish everything in 10 minutes, but you have a structure. You have a target point, you have a minimum point, and then if the customer really doesn't want, there's still the BATNA. Can I get an exclamation mark? Do we appreciate how there is a path from best to worst? The problem with a lot of people when they negotiate is that they don't follow a certain guide. That's why they are sporadic. They keep on giving so many things. Sometimes the concessions don't even make sense. Sometimes you're too generous. Sometimes you're at the losing end already when you are negotiating with a person. Okay? All right. So, let's do a quick exercise. Let's round up the session by giving you a true to life example of a customer representative who needs to negotiate with a customer. So here's the case exercise. Isabel, who loves online shopping, wants to cut her credit card line. Let's pretend you are a representative from a bank and your goal is to keep this customer intact with her credit card account. However, Isabel wants to cut her credit card line. She says she's not using it enough. She's concerned about her shopping impulses and explains that GCash, which is a prepaid e-wallet, mobile wallet in the Philippines, suffices for now. Okay? If you are the customer representative, your objective is simple. You have to keep her as a client. Do not lose Isabel. What will you do to offer alternatives so that she can still be a customer of the credit card? Okay. So here's how I'm going to do it, following the structure that we shared a while ago. Okay. Remember what you said? Target point, the best situation. Minimum point is the least that you can tolerate. And BATNA. You don't want to go empty handed, but you still want to get something out of it. So could you please type in the chat box, what do you think is a good target point? Customer wants to get out, wants to drop the credit card. What can you offer to her so that she stays in the bank as a customer? Could you please share? I'll give you a few seconds for this. Let's see if we have negotiators in the house. What would you add? Will be great to see that in the chat box. Will you offer a phone? Will you offer, I don't know. Tell me, guys, what are you going to offer instead? So Carl says lower credit card cap. Okay. Mariko says waive the annual fee. That's doable. But remember, guys, waiving it is too much. Are you really going to waive it immediately at the first part? Don't give up too easily. Don't give up too much concessions. Remember, if you waive this easily, she will tell it to her friends, and all of her friends will say, ah, is that so? Then I will also ask my credit card to be cut. It creates a precedence. The rest of the world will find out, and they're all going to complain that they want the same thing. So you cannot be too generous when negotiating, right? Hill, Guape says free renewal. Okay. Gillen is very generous. Gillen, I am so not agreeing with this, but thank you for sharing it. Waive the annual fee for life. Are you kidding me? That's a lot of money you're going to lose. Maybe you can do it, but not at the very start. Okay? That's why you have a target point. You want the best situation for you. Okay? I have here again from IJ Lim, lower her credit card limit. Okay? This is also possible from Gilan again. Lower the interest, that's okay. But remember, credit card have policies. You cannot give a specific situation for one customer because you're favoring them too much. Increase the cash advance limit. Could be, but remember, her issue was not because she wants to borrow money. Her issue was that she feels that a credit card is making her spend too much money. So likely she will not be finding the cash advance limit as relevant to her needs. Okay? What else? Give her access to the exclusive sales that credit card holders have access to. So that's one thing that you can tell her. But remember, she still is after the money, meaning she thinks she's spending too much. I want to go back to our guys, in case you are missing this out. Let me go back to the idea a while ago. She wants to cut her credit card line because she's not using it enough. She's concerned about her shopping impulses, okay? And explains that GCash suffices for now, okay? So try to consider those information. They are very important in this case. So what I would do is that I will not waive the annual fee yet. I'm going to use that later on. What I'm going to do is, okay, if you love shopping and you think that it's making you shop too much, but GCash is totally fine, I would say something like, I'm gonna offer you instead, okay, we can take you out from that credit card, but I can switch you to a more relevant product. We have a Lazada branded credit card. It has a lower interest rate, or it has freebies, it has exclusive points. So it's still, since you still want some shopping, you can get this credit card instead. Can I get an exclamation mark? Do you appreciate that? So remember, she still wants to spend. It's just that she feels that this credit card is not relevant to her needs. Okay. Now, if she doesn't want that, then I will proceed to the minimum point. That perhaps is when I will be able to waive the annual fee. Okay. That's the minimum point. Okay. If she still doesn't want to budge. Okay. Don't offer the waiving immediately. If you're going to do that, you're going to lose business in your bank. Okay. Right. So a Lazada branded credit card could be, you can get rebates. Right. I'm looking at Hazel's answer here from she mentions here that you can offer rebates. Very good. That could be one option. A Lazada branded credit card, for example, can have installments and you only need to pay 3 months later on. So you got the perks. So you still keep her as a credit card user. It's just that she's not using the old credit card anymore. Now, right? IJ says, but what if we don't have a Lazada branded credit card? Then you don't offer that. You offer something else. Okay? So in this situation, however, let's pretend, guys, it's a case situation. So I will be able to pretend in this case. But let's pretend though. Okay? What if the customer did not really want any of them? No, I don't want a Lazada branded credit card. No, I don't want to waive the fees. He really wants to cut the credit card. What she doesn't like is the concept of having a credit card. What would you do? Could you please type in the chat box? What do you think could be a solution to this? Remember, your objective, you still have to keep her as a customer. Right? Oh, Jabi says, by the way, cannot process a waiver if they're not eligible. So it won't be something that's really an option. Okay. That's also something to consider. Mary Ann says, question, Lazada or online shopping caters to a more impulsive customer, right? Yes, agree with that. But remember, she's still into shopping. But when someone says that she wants to cut, she is into shopping. Remember, before we do that, just so you can clarify, let's go back to the slide a while ago. Isabel loves online shopping, but she's not using it enough. She's concerned about her shopping impulses. So when you give someone a Lazada credit card, of course, remember you're coming from a bank's perspective. You still want her to keep on spending. Okay? Guys, you have to take out the ethics here. You have to consider here the objective of the bank. So what you do instead is that I want you to keep the credit card. Yes, you want to keep your impulses, but that's up to you, right? It's not my duty or to give you a magic pill to make you stop from spending. However, if you think that you still love Lazada and you think that you're still into online shopping, I will give you something that can manage your spending. So I will give you an interest rate lower. I will give you, for example, a 3-month benefit that you don't need to pay for it immediately, etc. Okay. So if I was Isabel and I keep on saying to the customer, nope, sorry, not really buying the credit card, right? You're fooling me. You're just making a mockery out of my spending. And that's true. That's what a bank can potentially do. Because remember, they just want you to keep on spending. What could be the other last resort? Okay. Jan Buladako says here, her concern is her impulses. So offer a way for her to double approve a transaction so that she can rethink about her shopping impulse. Okay. How about here? From Jabi again. Keep that card. Use the card for emergencies. We'll just replace a hold on the account and call us if you need to use the CC. That works. I never thought of that. It's just that it's inconvenient though, I think, because you have to call someone when you need to buy already or swipe it. But I see that point. Okay. Anyone else? Oh, I like this. I finally got something that has the same answer as mine. IJ Lim says, offer an online prepaid debit card, just like what BPI does. So this could be a Batna. She really hates a credit card. She doesn't see the need for it, but you cannot lose her as a customer. So what do you do? Okay, ma'am Isabel, you really don't want a credit card? But ma'am, we don't want to lose you. You've been with our bank for many years. Can I offer you instead a debit card? If you say that you have impulses, then a debit card can control it because you have a limited amount of funds depending on what you have inside the account, right? So offer a debit card and tell them, since you want to use it like GCash, GCash is like a debit card. It's just that instead of using an e-wallet, you're using an account from a bank. Okay? And so you offer that as a BATNA. The point is, if she really wants to let go of the credit card, do not lose her as a customer. If she is using a debit card, maybe in the future, when she ends up getting better finances, she will eventually go back to a credit card again. That's the reason why you don't want to lose her, right? That is your BATNA. So it's an alternative. It's not what you really want to happen, but it's the worst case situation that you're willing to take for now. Okay? Can I get an exclamation mark? Do we appreciate how we're following here a scheme from target point to minimum point and finally your BATNA? Remember, do not negotiate with a BATNA in mind because you're starting to think that you're going to be defeated. Only think of the BATNA or offer the BATNA when you have exhausted all means in this case. Okay? Can I get an exclamation mark? Do we appreciate the difference? And by the way, the guidance of step 1 to step 2 and step 3 allows you to understand, should I offer it immediately or should I wait for a bit? That's what negotiation is. Don't put all your best cards on the table. Wait for a bit. Maybe they're willing to budge. Maybe they're willing to concede. Okay? And in this case, I will not waive the annual fee immediately. I will offer them something instead. All right? Another thing, which I think some of the people mentioned a while ago, when you offer a Lazada branded credit card, you can also offer, I can put a minimum amount. 10,000 pesos every month, 15,000 peso every month. That way, you can still use the credit card, but your impulses are also managed. Okay? So, to end, our key objectives were met. We still kept Isabel as a customer and we still entice Isabel to spend. Remember, guys, we are thinking from the perspective of the bank. You have to wear those shoes. Okay? You have to keep her spending in this case. Right? Can I get an exclamation mark? Did we learn in today's session? I hope we had. So remember, this is part one. This is just part one of the art of negotiation. We're going to be learning more in parts 2 to 4 next year when we go back for season 3 of our webinars. Okay. Before I end, I'm going to invite the participants now to please share your questions in the chat box if you have. And let's give away to end the session with 500 pesos worth of freebies from our sponsor, and that is Also Healthy or OSH. Are you guys ready? I hope you are. All right. So I'll be asking a question. The first person who gets it right by typing it in the chat box is going to win. Okay. So my question is, we talked about the 3 elements that you need to consider for negotiation. I want you to enumerate quickly, completely what those 3 are. Time starts now. Okay. What are those 3 things? Jabi says Batna. You know, Jabi, you really made it on exactly the same session where you wanted this. Okay? So, my winner, ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking at the chat box. The first person that pops out in my chat box, my winner is Apple Mendoza. Congratulations, Apple Mendoza. The correct answer is target point, minimum point, and Batna. Congratulations, Apple Mendoza. How do you claim your prize? Very simple. Look at the screen, the green screen, copy the email address, marketing at I'mAlsoHealthy.com to claim your e-gift voucher and indicate that you are claiming 500 pesos. Okay? Congratulations, Miss Apple Mendoza. Please make sure that you send them an email because that's the only way for you to claim your voucher. Okay? I'm going to pause for a bit. Do you have any questions so far from our participants? I'm going to be reading your questions either from both Facebook or on LinkedIn. Okay? And let's see if you have any questions. In the meantime, if you are learning something so far, could you please give us a like, give us a thumbs up, give us a heart? We will appreciate that. Thank you. I have a question now here on LinkedIn. My question is, John, is it a requirement to always have a batna? Should I always make sure that I go home with something? What if even the batna is not favorable? Can I just go home with nothing at all? I think this is a very good philosophical question, and I will agree. Sometimes there are moments in life, I feel like I'm giving an advice now. Sometimes there are moments in life wherein it's okay to go home empty handed. Why? Because you don't want to force fit the situation as if you're bringing home something, but it's something that's even going to be bad for you. Right? So, yes, it's totally fine. The only reason why we can still consider a batna is because sometimes when you don't put it into your plan, you forget about it and you don't even think about it. But if you are looking at your batna and you studied it carefully and you still notice that, hey, I'm negotiating for a lower price, he still doesn't want it, should I offer this product at a price below my margin, below my costs? And guys, you don't need to sell your product just to make money because you're not going to make money at all. It's going to be negative for you. So perhaps go home, be empty handed, and fight another day. Consider selling it to another customer who might want to buy it at a profit. Okay? Only offer it if you're really desperate to have some cash because you need to be liquid, right? Which in sales, we call it as a sacrifice sale. You're selling a property like a condominium below the cost because you need to liquidate your money. That's the only time that you can do your batna. However, if a lot of people are offering you at the price lower, it means one thing. A lot of people are demanding for your product. Look for another day. fight another day instead. So my answer is simple. Batna is important to be considered, but you don't need to 100% always force that you need to go home with something. Okay? I think it's very similar to uh how do you call this? It's very similar to, if I were to give an example, to love. Is it really good to be with someone and be in partnership with someone but you don't really love the person? Or is it good to be single but at least you are comfortable with yourself and you're not forcing to love someone that you're half baked with, right? Okay? The art of letting go ang peg, sabi ni IJ. That's correct. Okay? So, before we end, can I get another exclamation mark or a thumbs up? We hope to see more of that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Before I end, I'm going to leave you behind with our QR codes. If you'd like to watch our past webinars, more than 100 of them, you can scan the QR code or copy the link into your browser. If you want to claim an optional certificate for this webinar, please scan also the QR code. If you're asking, when are we going to do our next round of webinars in 2022? That happens on the first week of January. We will be announcing that soon, so stay tuned to our Facebook page instead. Okay? In the meantime, I wish you guys a happy holiday, I guess, even if it's about to end now, or advanced happy weekend. And I hope you are preparing well and staying safe for a really enjoyable Christmas season. Bye, guys.